Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Uh, I'm rolling across the carpet. It's okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I know. I need to. We're gonna have to tweak the whole carpet because the whole thing shifted slightly and it made a weird ridge I roll over right here. Anyway, don't mind me. I'm just rambling about behind the scenes stuff. Um, Hi. Good afternoon. Welcome from wherever you are. Um, I missed some painting on Monday because it was a day. Let me tell you. The days since then have been days as well, just like any other day. But today is definitely a day to return to painting. Monday was a fluke. I may game again sometime in the future. It just depends how I feel, what it is, but mostly 99% of the time I will be painting. Let's make sure I have the Spotify turned down because it still looks like it's running hot. Let me turn it down. I don't want it to be nothing. I just want it to be almost gone. Yep, let's go ahead and switch to our camera. Hello. Let's take a look to start out, actually, at what was done last week. If you were here or watched the VOD and remember, I ended on Thursday of last week by doing just an abstract on mineral paper and left off with it needing to dry. Well, it kept on drying for hours afterward. It takes a while. If I just let it sit, it takes a while. That's the only way I've got to dry them. So I just let them ride. But it came out really well. I'm actually pretty happy with it. I'll see if I can get it up a little bit closer so you can see it. The one benefit of the metallic paint when I use it is it really reflects nicely in the light. So you can see where it hit. It's better when it's like bloomed and kind of blended into it. This one kind of dropped and just kind of sat there and stayed that way. I could have moved it, but I didn't feel like it. So it's not great, but hey, you know, these mineral paper ones always do a good job at kind of turning into something on their own without a whole lot of work from me. So I always like how they come out. In addition to this, I don't have them to show. I didn't think about it, but another thing I did in the intervening days is I finally figured out some kind of process for scanning in some of the artwork. So I have a Xerox printer over in the corner here, and it's just like an office printer, office all-in-one scanner printer thing. So the scanner is built for like scanning office documents, right? It's not meant for high quality, like high-res imagery, but it does the job well enough, I think. But the big thing was getting some software to be able to help manage all of it, especially when I have something bigger than the surface area of the scanner, so that I can scan things in parts and stitch them together. I just ended up using Photoshop, an old version, because, you know, getting an older version is easier. But yeah, I just used that, and it's got some automation called photo merge, and it just magics the pieces together. So long as you do a good job getting original source quality images, it blends them together seamlessly. You can't even tell that they were separate scans. So I was using that, and at some point I'll go through and work on color correction, and then I can show them off or use them somewhere. But it feels good to be able to get some of them down where you can actually see them. In fact, let me open one up and I'll show you really quick. Let me find where I put them first. I put it here, and then here, and then here. And then my scans are all here. There are the multi-part ones. Yeah. So I guess I can show some really quick. Let me put that there. Yep, and show them a touchscreen. Yeah, so this is one that was ended up being large enough that it had to be cut into two pieces to be scanned fully. Otherwise, it was going to fall off the edge of the scanner. So I just put it in there sideways and let it scan half of it, and then put it in the other direction and let it scan the other half, rotate it at all, and then put it in that app, and it just magicked it together. It truly was magic. You can't even tell where the line was where it stitched it together. Same with the little floating islands one. This guy, a mineral paper abstract. And this, one of my favorite mineral paper abstracts. I absolutely love how this one looks. And it's nice to be able to get a nice, solid, it was like 600 DPI by 600 DPI, like really high resolution scans. And they just came out great. So I'm really happy with them. I have not truly gone through and color corrected a lot. This one I let Photoshop do some automatic color correction on its own. I didn't babysit it. I just let it do some automatic stuff, and it looks pretty darn close to what it looks like in person as well. So I'm kind of satisfied with that. But yeah, it's working really stunningly well. I got some of the ones I've always wanted to get scanned in here, like this one, my Voyager one. Like, it's nice to actually be able to have it done in like a high quality scan. Like, I can zoom in on this thing and you can see like the individual like brushstroke, like the texture of the paper. Like, it really did a high quality scan. So I'm really happy with how these came out. Are there any other fun ones in here? Ooh, I always love this one. Hang on. Oh, this is the one I was just showing you. I didn't rotate it, but yeah, here we go. It scanned in okay, and this one has not had any color correction done to it, and you can tell it doesn't, like, this is the original, and this is the scanned in one. So it's a little more, I don't know what the word is for it, pale, I guess you can say, over bright. It doesn't really quite show like the saturation like it does in person. So clearly I've got to go through and spend some time color correcting and looking at the original under light and just going back and forth and doing stuff I've never done before to try to make it look good. But still, I'm pretty happy with it. This guy, one of my favorites. This is one of my first nebulas I ever made. Absolutely love it how this one came out. I spent hours working on this one. Like, I babied this one and worked on it forever. And because of that, it's got, I think, a lot more depth than some of my other ones do. So, yeah. So these came out really well. I was very happy with it. I will clearly go back later on and work on the color correction bits of it. Get that out of my way. But yeah, I'm glad to have something. It may not be the best in the world, but I'm nowhere near best in the world quality by any means. I'm happy to have any method at all to get those things scanned in. So let me set this to the side and have a chit chat about what I'm planning on doing today. Because this paper is so plastic, but at the same time so flimsy. I have to be really gentle about how I manage it. I don't think anything I'm doing today is going to make a mess, and if it does, I'll move it. For now, I'm just going to set it back here to get out of the way. So what am I going to do? Well, I have two things planned if I can. I think I will. One, oh my goodness. One, we get to bring back the giant pad or giant block. We're going to work on this giant ass thing today. It will not all fit in the camera, so I'll have to move it around in pieces. But I also have a glass with some soapy water, a straw so I can make some bubbles, a spoon that ironically somehow or another ends up matching the straw color, the both metal, like brass color or whatever that might be. So I can scoop up the bubbles, put them on paper, and I'm going to use some kind of pigment. I don't fully know what yet. I don't know if I'm going to use my palette, if I'm going to use that Kurotake set with all the nice colors in it, or if I'm going to be smart, like I probably should, and use my liquid watercolors, because I think they'll probably go into the bubbles, the soap bubbles, better. And derp, my brain was stupid. Because it's already like diluted, I can use the dropper and put them in that way. That way I am not, let me turn my mic down. I think I'm peaking a little bit. That way I am not likely to accidentally get soap in something I don't want it to be in. I don't want to get soap on my brushes, really, things like that. I don't know what it does to them. It just feels like a not good idea. So that's one thing I'm going to do. I'm going to try to do the soap bubbles on the whole thing, different varying colors. I don't fully know which ones yet. I'll figure it out on the fly, like I usually do. And then I've got some plastic wrap over here that I will do off camera. I'll move this to a table once all the soap has settled. And I'm going to put the plastic wrap on it and let it do that thing where it kind of goes on there and settles. Um, I don't know that it will dry today. It might take some time for that to actually dry completely. So I will at the very least get it to a point where it looks good. And if I have to peel back the plastic early and hit it with a heat gun without damaging it, I will try that. Because the goal is to do hopefully at least 2 passes today, because I want to do a large bubble and salt, very light amount of salt, like Nebula. I really want to try to hit a huge piece of paper, use all the soapy bubble technique, use a little bit of the salt technique, let it dry, do at least one more layer, preferably 2, and let it kind of spread light in the middle area to darker in the next area out. And then if I can do a third one, I'll do a third one around the furthest edges and like some ropes and strands and whatnot to try to make it look like it's got some depth to it. Uh, and that'll be that. We'll see how that looks, and if we want to add like any indigo or stars or anything to it, or just keep it the way it looks because it looks good abstract. Who knows? We'll find out. So that's one piece. And then while we have that off to the side drying, I'm going to use 11 by 15 of the Strathmore paper, and I will be doing some experiments. I saw a really pretty. I wish I could remember the person so I could say what their name was on Instagram, but it happened in passing, and I'm remembering it as a good idea. The idea is you use a palette or whatever you have handy and put a little bit of pure pigment directly in some certain spots, wet it down a little bit, and then imprint the top of a cup or a glass with as much of the thick, colorful pigment as possible. Transfer that as thick as possible, buttery but wet, onto the paper and make a ring. Press it down, pull it away. Maybe do it again and do it in another spot. Maybe do one with different colors, put it down as well. And then just kind of put a little bit of a pool of water in the center of the circle, and then kind of touch or kiss the pigment area and let it bleed into the center of that circle. Leave some areas where it's open, and just when it dries, it has a really beautiful, kind of like a colorful soap bubble look. It's so cool looking. Yeah, ring watercolor pressing. Yeah, right. I've seen it a couple times now, and I saw it again today, and I thought that looks so freaking cool. And if done well, very easy. So it just seems like something I could approach. So I'm going to give it a try in between letting this thing dry. And if it gets to be too much and I need to bring this back, I'll bring it back. So I've got ideas for 2 things. So I'm going to try to do those today. If I can get around to them both, I'll do them both. So let me clean up a tiny bit of my extra stuff that I've pulled out here and get to working on the first part of this. Let me scooch this over here. I've got my coffee in a blue cup today. It's hard to tell from that angle, but it's a blue cup, like blue glass. I forgot where we got this. Either Target or IKEA. I don't know why I'm going stupid on it. Was it Target? Yeah, these were from Target. There's a couple different colors. They're really pretty. I always loved blue glass, like blue, and like when you can find it the same color, green. Like one of my like desirous things that I've always wanted is a green banker's lamp, because I always loved that green transparent glass. One day I'll find one that's actually on sale. It's not like an idiot like rip off that's just gonna just destroy my wallet. Oh, oh, coffee is so good. Okay. Um, I think for this, I'll use the watercolor inks, like I said. So let me put my palette away and make sure this is closed. It is. And it was holding up everything behind it, but I will put it back later. That's fine. Um. Oh no. Really? Oh no. Desert said, I could use some coffee right now, but pet sitting and they don't drink coffee. What heathens? No offense to whomever they are. I get it. Uh, it's coming from the mouth of an addict, so I can't really say anything. Uh, aw. Any caffeine of any kind? Like tea or something at least? It's gotta be something. Oh, what a shame. We'll see. Alright, you know, got this here, but it's taking up space, so I will set this on the floor for now. I know, no soda, I mean, that's fine. It's weird. I am diabetic, and I used to love soda, and then I started having diet soda, and now I'm at the point where I don't even truly like having soda too often anymore. Like we rarely get it, and when we do, I have a glass, and I'm like, well, that was a thing. I don't get the same joy out of it like I used to. Sit there. I'll put it back in a minute. Um, yeah, it's not the same. Like it used to have like some sort of drive to want to have it when I was younger, and then the diabetes hit, and it was just all bets are off. Like I mean, you have the diet ones for a while, and it feels the same, and like I guess you enjoy having it, but eventually, I think you hit a point where you just don't really care to have it anymore, and you replace it with other things like coffee. So that's what I've done. Instead of a soda holic, I'm now a coffee holic. I don't know if it's doing my kidney and whatnot, kidneys any favors, but hey, deep flavors in the cane sugar ones. Oh, I bet so. I think wasn't there is it Jones? I'm thinking of in a glass bottle. I think it was that was a cane sugar soda. I don't know that I've ever had it. I just remember seeing it, but yeah. I mean, I just if I want soda, we'll dip out and get like a Diet Coke or a Diet Mountain Dew or Diet Sprite. Starry, I think, is one of the ones. Ginger ale, especially, is always good. Root beer. Now I'm just naming soda flavors. I'm gonna shut up. um, yeah, it's not that bad. It's just there's other things I could have instead. The real struggle with diabetes is when you have a craving for a dessert and you can't have that dessert anymore because nobody sells it sugar free, or the ones that sell it sugar free are garbage, or the ones that sell it are sugar free and garbage and expensive. And even worse than that, if you're someone who likes to bake or cook, it's even harder than that because making it yourself, finding an artificial sugar replacement that does the things that real sugars do in recipes that require the texture or the structure from the sugar is so hard. Like allulose works as a pretty good replacement for granulated sugar, and there's allulose monk fruit blends for powdered sugar. We've tried the erythritol powdered sugars, and it makes me truly like physically sick. Like you have more than a spoonful of it, and it just makes you sick to your stomach. And on top of that, it's got this like kind of gross cooling effect when you eat it, and it's just like I made a frosting with it, thinking it was going to be great, and the texture was perfect, but it tasted like garbage. So I'd like to get a better powdered sugar replacement. The one using allulose and monk fruit is supposed to be incredible, but it is ungodly expensive and it's just hard to find. So, yeah, when I get around to that, I will try it, and hopefully, it will change my life in a very expensive, unhealthy way. Because I mean, truly, the one thing I really want to do more than anything, I like making French macarons. And I can't do that too often because if I'm going to make it to where I'm going to eat it, I need a powdered sugar that's sugar free, or I'm not going to be able to consume any of them. Um, and it's just, and I don't know how it's going to react because powdered sugar is such an important component of it that I'm afraid the texture may come out weird. It may come out sticky. It could come out too dry. The quantities that you use when you mix in with almond flour may not be right. It may need to be adjusted. Or it could be a one for one perfect match made in heaven. I don't know because I've never afforded literally the chance to buy it. One day we'll figure it out. Anywho, stop rambling and back to the project at hand. I'm going to be doing soap bubbles. I want to do a kind of space nebula color set or palette. So I have to figure out what's good colors for my nebula. Okay, so I have my indigo. That's not it. That's the indigo right there. I can always use that for outer edges of bubbles to lean into the color that will do for space, but that'll come probably in the second pass. In the middle, I've got yellow. I don't use it a lot, so yellow seems like a good option. I have this one is an acrylic ink. This one is, does it not have the name? Oh no, there it is. Flame red, which is really more of a kind of an orangey red color. So maybe some of that because it's on the yellow side, so it'll go with the yellow really well, I think. The weirdest struggle with diabetes ends up being the replacements we try to use, and then friends saying how unhealthy those subs are. Head desk. Yes. Amen, sister. Let me tell you, because everyone wants to be like, all the artificial sugars are bad for you. You should just have sugar. And I'm like, I am diabetic. And then their answer is, well, don't have anything. I want to punch through your head to the back of your skull. You have no idea what the struggle is. Thankfully, over time, the desire for sweet things just fades and you don't really care anymore. But it sounds like they're coming up with ways to make the artificial sweeteners evil. It's like it feels like it's being pushed by big sugar. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to push these so-called like articles out there showing how bad artificial sweetener is for you, but every time I do a deep dive to look it up, because I don't care to do deep dives, but for this I do, there is no evidence of any kind at all except for some, bullshit like testing done in an incorrect manner, not being done like double blind, not being done in any proper testing scientific method whatsoever. It's like it's literally being pushed by idiots who claim they're scientists and who are following their rules and not real rules, and then pushing that without being peer reviewed, without anyone else doing any additional repeat testings or anything, saying, oh, this is bad for you, with no evidence at all. I think the only one that's gotten any sort of traction into having some kind of potential issues is erythritol, and that's great. I already don't like erythritol. So, I mean, if needed, it can go, but if it falls, everything around it starts falling because then they turn their attention to the next one and the next one. I mean, there's been a war on artificial sweeteners forever, like against saccharin. That's coming back around again. Nobody wants sweet and low or saccharin around anymore. So it's just, I don't know. It's a bunch of garbage. Hot garbage. They just want to ruin everybody's good time. Anyway, so lesson learned, don't try to do a red, white, and blue. I need to lean in a direction. If I do, then it turns muddy. So I'm not going to do any blues, except for maybe the indigo. And maybe on the second pass after it dries, I can do a blue next to the indigo to help kind of shift into that color. And I'll keep it out for that second pass. Maybe I'll do magenta. So maybe on the first pass, I'll just do, what is this one? Black. I'll just do like a yellow, that flame red, maybe a standard red. This is a cadmium red hue, so this is also a little bit more on the orange side. My only other colors are, I could do brown, and that would make sense for the first pass. Maybe for like a dust, like a dust color for burnt umber. So maybe we'll see. And then when we do the second pass, we'll switch to our blue, indigo, and in the center we can do maybe a little bit of that quinacridone magenta with one of the reds and maybe a hit of the yellow again to make it a little bit brighter and make it pop more. But first pass, we're going to go with these four. So let me scoot this out of the way for now. So loud when it closes. All right. That can go there. Do as I command. do what I want. Here we go. And sometimes I move one thing and everything else shifts out of place around it and it just collapses, and then I have to go rejigger everything to get it to work. Okay, and then this can go back. All right, everything's going back where it belongs. Okay. Oof, it's a little warm. It says 62, but I think there's just no airflow, so I'm not really feeling it. The window's wide open, but it's fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Fine. All right, let's crack this open. Put that down there. Okay. Got ourselves a nice big sheet of paper. This is on a block, so it's glued all the way around except for a little bit on the edge here. I don't think I can zoom out any. I think I'm already as zoomed out as I can be on this one. Let me see. Yeah, I'm already. That's zoom in, zoom out. Yeah, I'm already as zoomed out as I can. The only way I could get a bigger view on this is if I lifted the camera higher, and it's pretty much at the extent of the arm. So I will try to keep everything kind of centric, but we may end up shifting a little bit here in a bit. All right, so let's get myself together a plan. So I've got my glass with my soapy water. I've got a straw at the ready so I can blow up some bubbles. I've got a spoon so I can scoop up some of those bubbles and set them down really quick. I think for the sake of speed, while I have bubbles, I think I will blow up bubbles, scoop some into a shape or a pile or a pattern, move to the inks, ink them really quick, and then move on to the next section. So I think to make it easier so I don't hit anything by accident, I'll probably start further away from me and then work my way toward myself. That way I don't accidentally brush up against something in front of me. All right, so also it'd probably be smart. I'm going to pre-shake and pre-open and fill up the droppers on my inks. This one's the burnt umber. It's kind of brown, very dark brown. I imagine it'll thin out pretty well on this. Open! Do as I command. Hey guys, welcome in. We were just chit-chatting. Earlier I showed the mineral paper drawing or painting that I did last week on Thursday. That was wet when I ended stream. This is it dry. The silver metallic came out pretty reflective. Yep. And I showed, I figured out what I was doing for now anyway for scanning. It does look very pizza-esque. The silver turned out very much like pepperoni. Silver, weird, metallic pepperoni pizza. Yeah, we figured out I'm using my Xerox scanner in the corners to scan things in. Anything larger than a 9x12, I scan in pieces, and I'm using Photoshop to merge it together. Mrs. If you shared it, dish soap solution, hand soap solution, or bubble bath soap solution. Dish soap. I'm using Dawn. Yep. A typical, it's kind of hard to tell, but it is that typical blue Dawn dish soap. All you're seeing is bubbles, but underneath it is slightly blue. In fact, let me, oh yeah, I need to finish getting all these cracked open and ready to go. So Goddess, what I'm going to be doing today is I've got my gigantic pad of like 15 by 20 paper on a block, so it's glued down around all the edges. I'm going to be playing with soap bubbles today. So I'm going to be doing soap bubbles. I've got a straw to blow bubbles, a spoon to scoop up the bubbles. I'll make them into some sort of shapes. I'm going to use my liquid watercolor or liquid acrylic inks to kind of dab and dropper some of the pigment onto the top of the soap bubbles and let it spread out on its own. I'm going to start with two different reds, a yellow, and a burnt umber or brown. And then once it dries, I'll do a second pass. But I'll be doing soap bubbles. I will be putting plastic wrap on top of it. I'm going to move it to a table to the side of me here and let it dry. And then we'll move on to a second phase of what I'm going to work on tonight. Lurk, dog food cooking day. Totally understood. I don't know what day it is that my boyfriend will be doing it, but he'll be making our doggo Comet make his food too before too long. Did I finish shaking this? I don't recall, so let's do it anyway. Hit the dropper, crack it open. Nope. All right. This one, make sure it's tight. Nope. Okay, shaky, shaky, shaky. Crack it open. Ooh, that one's tough. There we go. I swear I never close these too hard, but man, it feels like I closed them with a vice grip. All right, and yeller. This is cadmium yellow hue. Wow, that one actually like cracked open, honestly. Right. Okay, so I will start with some yellows. I think maybe I'll start with some browns more in the center with the yellows, and then branch outward using the orange or the reds. And we'll see as I'm doing it. All right, let me mix up this. I'm not going to be touching a brush unless I absolutely need it for this. We'll see. Let me move my paper towels because I don't want to get them drenched in bubbles. It's weird blowing bubbles like that. Get on there. Oh, I totally said I was going to be going from the back inward, and I didn't. Man, I may need something bigger than this spoon to get them on there. Let's see. Yep. Tough thing to get off of there. It doesn't want to get off of the spoon. Let me use the back of the spoon. I should have wet the paper first. Oh yeah, the bubbles are popping before I can do anything with them. Uh, Fun when something doesn't quite work out the way you expect. Like, who knows how these people on like Instagram do it? They're probably sitting there like retaking after retaking after retaking, and they make it look like they're one-shot willies out here, just getting it all done in one go. It's so funny. I have to be so mindful not to use the straw like a straw. I really don't need to be sucking dish soap. I would be getting sick immediately. All right. I think that's enough for one little corner right there. I just want to get it kind of heavy. All right. Let's start with that and see what it does. Let's hit it with a little bit of brown. Some yellow. I might have to switch to using my hand to move the bubble. Let's see. Or something else funky. You get to see my failures live and in Technicolor. Or maybe successes. Take my bubbles. Oh my god, it's going everywhere. Oh, this is crazy. Oh, this is crazy. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. I'm gonna have a little bit of a watery, soapy mess to clean up, but that's fine. Oh, this is crazy. Okay. Yeah, sometimes I make silly mistakes or silly decisions. Let me let me get some soap in these really quick before everything just disappears and all that hard work goes to waste. Brown. All right. That is enough for now. Breaking out. I'm going to go rinse my hands really quick and grab the plastic wrap. I'm back. It's messy, so I'm not putting my headset back on just yet. I'm just going to do this without hearing anything. Grab some plastic wrap. I'm not going to go nuts with it. I don't want to mess with the shape of any of this just yet. I'm just going to let it settle down on its own. I don't want to press it because I think that'll just pop all the bubbles. I'm going to scoot this over to a table really quick to get it out of my way. Boy, I got soapy water everywhere. Let me clean some of this up. Goddess said, oh yeah. Desert said super duper process. The mess is part of the process and part of the fun. And then Goddess, you said, what solution are you using? Sorry, my stream paused. Just soap and water, Dawn, and just water. Dawn, just soap. Did it work? Sort of. Lessons. Have I learned any lessons? Do I know if you can hear me or not? Probably. I'm just not hearing it myself because I don't have my headset in, but I can assume that you can hear me. I need to consider a better delivery method for the soap bubbles. Does anybody have any suggestions for what works for people when they're doing that? I was trying to use a spoon. I wasn't picking up enough of it. I switched to my hands, which worked, but was hellaciously messy. So I'd have to be prepared with like a towel to wipe up the soap on my hands before I go wash them. Which works. Just not the first best solution, I think. But that's okay. That's not what we're doing next. Next, we get to shift gears from soap. Well, that was fun. Right, just to make sure I don't make any messes, let me tighten these down just a little bit. You know what I wish I could do? I wish... Was something there? Maybe a little bit. What I wish I could do is go completely without headphones altogether. Streaming with the microphone and like with any audio coming through a speaker would be great, but I'm afraid of feedback. I don't know how much of it will come back through the microphone. Like it doesn't some software prevents that. Like I know like Teams and Slack for like work meetings, it prevents feedback. I was using a microphone on my desk, this one in fact, and my work like computer speakers, and nobody heard any feedback of any kind. But I'm afraid to have like music playing back, and then you're hearing the music coming through both my microphone and from the stream, so that would kind of suck. So I'm trying not to do that. Oh, I gotta lean back for a second. I did something on my side last night. I woke up this morning and like my left like hip kidney area was kind of sore. I don't know what I did to myself. Oh, this has been bugging me all day. Okay, headphones coming back in. I can hear myself through the monitor, and I can hear the music again. You usually don't hear my music at all? Really? I can hear it, but I think I might have turned it down so much that it's low. Like right now, if I turn it up. Right now, I hear it blasting in my ears. Is it loud or quiet compared to me speaking? I never know. Like, okay, no, that's fine. I just, I have a fear of overdoing the music, and it's so hard to adjust it so that it sounds like what I'm hearing to you, right? But I also don't want it blasting because I don't want someone to come in and be like, what? What are you saying? What? All I hear is do 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 coffee house music. Okay. We'll see. It's weird. Like I try to set it up and like record sometimes and listen to my recording and assume that's what it's going to sound like to others, but my volume controls are like I mean, I can control the volume inside Spotify. I can control the volume using a knob on my Stream Deck that controls the volume in the Windows app volume mixer. So, like in Windows, any app that plays audio has its own slider. So that's what I control with the knob that I've got on my Stream Deck. And then there's a volume slider inside of my streaming application. So I have to balance everything in a way that makes sense, and it's just ridiculous. And I'm still hearing it over the headset myself. So I've got to balance that to make sure I'm not deafening myself with music. So it's always a balance of trying to figure out which one works the best. But lesson learned, if you weren't hearing it very loudly, I can turn it up here. And that's as high up as it can go inside of the Spotify app. That's as high up as it can go in the streaming solution, but in the Windows volume thing, it's down to like 13%. Yeah, you prefer streams? Oh, you hear it a lot? Yeah, see, it's hard to choose the balance on that. I'll turn it down some more. Maybe I'll turn this down a tiny bit. Like, I always like the idea of having some music because I, by no means, by no stretch of the imagination, am entertaining. I just am not. It's just not my nature. Maybe sometimes I get a little giggle, out of people, but that's not my life. Is trying to be super entertaining. And if I don't have some kind of noise going on in the background, it's to help balance out the silence, right? Like, I used to work in a call center, a couple of call centers, in fact, over time. And one of the biggest things they ding you for is dead air. Dead air, if you don't know, is just what it sounds like. It's whenever there is a conversation going and there is a lull or a drop in the conversation for more than a certain amount of time. And it's same holds true in like the entertainment industry, I'm sure. They don't like dead air. So I learned how to take care of filling up most of that time then, but as I get older and I had jobs away from that, I kind of lost some of that capability, I think. And when I was filling dead air in the call center, all I could really do is talk about fluff scenarios like, how's the weather in your area? Blah, 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 blah. It's just, it's tough. It's tough. It's a set of conversation that I'm never good at naturally, and being forced to do it in a job was just a nightmare. I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore. What is being said at work? Blah blah blah, something blah blah that doesn't have to do with me. They just added the entire they added the entire group with an at here, so everybody gets it, even the people who are off work right now. Anywho, I don't come to be entertained, though. I come to watch the art making. If I want to be entertained, I'll go listen to a comedian, but that's subjective just to me. Ha! Well, thank you, Goddess. I appreciate that. Maybe someday I can be a tiny bit of both, but I think the the art is I don't know. I don't want to sit here and like badmouth myself, but I am of the opinion that I am still happily very much still in the learning phases, right? I'm not here to do perfection. I am not the Borg. I'm not seeking perfection. I don't want perfection. Maybe someday, 7 years down the road, I might be somewhat better than I am now, and I appreciate the slow creep forward, the evolution of my skill, right? Clearly, as time goes on, I will get a little bit better. In some areas, I might get worse. I don't know. But my whole purpose when I started streaming actually was I want this to be a way to, one, make me have consistency in painting. For a while there, I was doing it whenever I had downtime when I first discovered watercoloring. And then I hit a point where my work became busier than my free time and it ate into my life. And it just kind of killed my soul a little bit. And it was getting harder and harder to make myself go paint. Case in point, Monday, right? But my thought with doing the streaming was not to be like, I'm not going to be on here with some giant numbers. My goal is not to make money from this ever. If it does by some miracle, I'm not a freaking idiot. I'm going to accept that lovingly and graciously, but I'm not looking for it because I don't want to be disappointed when and if it doesn't happen, right? So you just go into it for fun, for the hobby of it, for the joy of it. My purpose, my number one purpose, is to make myself be more consistent about painting. If I stop, it's hard to pick it back up again. Like anything in life, right? I need to create the habit and the desire to get something on paper at least once a week, preferably multiple times a week, right? So that's why I'm here twice a week, is to make sure that after work, I've got like an hour gap when I finish work. When I prepare and I sit and I listen to music, I drink coffee, I get the stream set up and ready to go, make sure all the stuff is working, because sometimes it just goes stupid and fails for some reason. An audio source disappears, some BS like that. Windows, am I right? All computers, really. But yeah, I'm just here to give myself consistency. But that was just one part of it. My goal for the other part of it was getting help, right? Like, I don't want to come here necessarily to be, look at me and how amazing I am, follow my tutorials, please sign up for my classes at fill in the blank. No offense to anyone who does that. Desert, I know you do classes. It's not a bad thing. It's a beautiful thing. I'm just not the person that's got the skill to be able to pull that off, especially not now. I'm just starting. I'm like a year into this. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just screwing around for the most part. I have to really stop and focus, and that gets difficult when I have to do the things that are really, really specific. It's hard to kind of let my brain let go for some of the stuff where I have to like properly line things out and all that and paint afterward. I'm separating from what I was thinking. My goal was, I wanted to be able to come on here and have even a handful of people watching and hanging out with me sometimes. You guys have been amazing. Desert and Goddess, thank you so much for being regulars. I appreciate you guys so very much. But I want to be able to learn. Like, I want to be able to go in here and, like, some of my stream ideas was choose a topic or theme, something that I'm okay or not good at all, go into it once with the best of my skill and the best of my ability, and then put it to the side, and then do research or get help from whoever's in chat, maybe even get on Discord calls with them and get some guidance to say, okay, I saw what you were going for there. Now let's go over gently where you went wrong and what you can do to fix it. Let's try to redo what you just did better. That's what I really want. I don't want to go to an art school, because everyone who goes to an art school comes out of it not only in debt, but hating it. Find me someone who loved art school. Go on, I'll wait. I think nearly every single time I see anyone who puts any sort of content out there and talks about it, they may have gotten the base skill and the muscle memory and like all of that training and foreknowledge, and that's great. The foundation is great. You should always have some sort of stable foundation, and for those people, that's what they went with. Their foundation was the schooling, but then they go out of it and they hate that they had to go through it, right? It's useful, but for me, it wouldn't be useful because it's not my primary goal in life to paint. Someday, that would be great if I could shift gears into nothing but this. Hell yeah, I'll put my all into it. But for now, my purpose is use the people that I get to interact with to help me is the ultimate goal, because you all know what you're doing. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're still going to know just enough to be able to help think about and brainstorm suggestions for things just as much as I'm able to do. So I get a difference of opinion that I can use to help me out. Like, I'm not looking here to be the end all. You know, I just want to do what I do for fun. If one thing I do gets specific attention, like doing nebulas and whatnot, I'll do a lot of that and not much of the technical stuff. The technical stuff escapes me a lot of times. I go for the more abstract, random bullshit, and you've seen that. So yeah, ramble over. End goal is I wanted to get out there, have a few people watching, and then get on and figure things out together so that I can get one little step on the ladder a little bit further up to a more professional person. I've missed some chatting. Let's see. Love, yes. I love that. Oh, I saw a Goddess who said, I have the opposite challenge, me, blah, blah, blah. Oh, what, you talk a lot? No, you're fine. You're fine. I've heard people who talk a lot and talk too much. You're nowhere near it. You're totally fine. Desert, you said love. I agree with that. Love is good. Love is loving my comment that I said. And look, restricted suspicious user. Oh, goody. Let's get rid of the restricted suspicious user. Banhammer. There is the Banhammer. Hit the button. They are gone. Okay. Let's see. Desert said, very much agreed. I thank Goddess for pushing me to stream, and right now I'm using it to experiment with stuff I haven't tried before, finish pieces maybe, and keep painting. Yes, it's absolutely true. It's Goddess, thank you for knowing Desert outside of streaming and helping push to make it happen. Having a support system is so important in making you be able to do something. Like, you can have an idea yourself, but if there's nobody behind you to help make you feel somewhat good about it and drive you to help make that decision, I mean, it's difficult. Doable, difficult. Goddess said, I loved it, but didn't go for a degree or anything. I just took classes I wanted to take because I enjoyed it. Oh, that's wonderful. I've seen that a lot. I remember that when I was in a community college. A lot of people would come and just take a class because it's a skill that they wanted or something they were like not knowledgeable in, and they just wanted to get proper knowledge, not for like credit, college credit or anything, just for taking it. So I get that. That's beautiful. Hell yeah. Okay, done yapping. Let's do the thing I was going to do. Get the coffee off the paper. So what was I going to do? Well, I've got these. I've got these. Got my paint. So what am I going to do? I already mentioned it to Desert earlier when I got online. What I'm going to do is pick one of these, probably like this or something. It's not perfectly flat, so it's probably not going to be really easy to do, but it's not meant to be perfect. What I am going to do, I could use the small one to start. What I'm going to do is, excuse me, go ahead and start. I'm going to put some pigment of maybe 2 or 3 different colors in some spots around here. I'm going to put a tiny bit of water in each one just to slightly liquefy them, but keep them very, very thick, very buttery, right? Very rich with color. I'm going to take one of these little cups and I'm going to press and slightly wiggle to get some of it onto the rim. And then I'm going to make rings with the pigment and then pull it away. And then I'm going to put a little bit of water on the center and fill it in a little bit. And then I'm going to use the tip of my brush to kind of kiss the edge of where the pigment is in some spots, not all. I'm not going to pull around the whole thing, but just to allow it to bloom in the middle and see how they come out. I've seen it on Instagram a couple times. Desert said she'd seen it as well. So it's something I felt like it was simple, yet could have a really pretty outcome. So I'm going to give it a shot. So first thing I'm going to do is pick some colors. I've got my professional sets right here. So I'm going to pick some colors in it. A pretty green. Which one is this? Cupric? Yes, Cupric green. That one's nice. Let's do... Ooh, this... Permanent Red Light. That's a nice one. There's this one. Upside down? Yep, upside down. Yellow Ochre? That could be interesting. Let's do that. Let's start there. It's like the first 3 colors that I picked up. So I'm gonna open that up. Actually, let's do this off the side of the paper. The goal isn't to turn this into a giant full-page artwork. It's just to do these circles kind of all over it. So I'm gonna do a little bit of Cupric green right there. I'm going to go with Permanent Red Light. That's what this one is. So far, these are all Mameri Blue. The Mameri Blue brand, if you've never heard of them. Well, that's just too bright to see. Come on. Focus? No. Do you do that thing where everyone does, where you put your hand up there and then let it focus on that? Nope. Not gonna play nice? Well, oh, there it goes. Mary Blue! Alright. That's all I was doing, was trying to show the Brandon full clarity. Alright, let's put some of the red over here. Red and green, a sure way to muddy things up, but we'll see what it does. And then yellow ochre, because why not? Comment. Hey, bud. Loud dog bark. I don't know what he's barking at. Really? You know what I don't have? Any paper towels, because I used them to clean up my soapy mess earlier. Let me grab some fresh paper towels. Whoop. Not touch the pigment with it. Okay. And let's grab ourselves a round brush. I'm gonna get, for the size of this, I'm gonna get a smaller one. This is a 6. Yep, size 6 round brush. Let's grab some water. Everything is way over here, but that's fine. And I'm going to wet this, but keep it really dark. That's pretty green. This Cupid green, even on the paper towel, is gorgeous. Okay, let's rinse that off pretty thoroughly. Let's get our red, spread it out a little. to each of these three in here. Add it again, and then we will do it with some different colors, I think. And let's hit it in the middle. And let's hit some spots. Seems to be doing a little better. It's not bad. I think we'll do some different colors. Let me scoot this guy over here. Grab another plate. And let's pick some different colors. Something a bit more vibrant. We're going into the realm of blue, I think. We've got a French ultramarine. I like that one. This is turquoise green. I love that one too. And maybe we'll just do that. Just those two. Oh, I love a violet. Oh no, you know what? Let's do the violet and the turquoise blue. A nice mix, I think. Oh, so hard to open. Okay. Turquoise. And hit our brush in some clean water. Add some, I'm going to put it on the sides of each. So I've got plenty of water there. Kind of fun in itself, just letting it kind of find it and merge in there. All right. Let's get the violet one going. Looks nice and dark. Let's get our clean one now. I'm going to go wiggle. Let's do one here. And let's do another wiggle. Let's do one over here. Kind of uneven, but that's cool. Let's get some clean water. Get some in the middle. And some more clean water. Let's get some in the middle of this one. Let's touch some of these. Let's hit this one. I like that color combo. That's nice. That violet and the turquoise blue. Very nice. Okay. Let me break out the heat gun. Wait, let's not yet. Let's let that work. Let me clean, or try to clean. Try to do one more. Scoot this one over here. That one's up there. Let's scoot this one down here. Let's pick some more colors. You know the one I want to hit? I want to hit that blood orange. Let me find it. You're not it. You're not it. Or Dragon's blood orange. I wish I had blood orange. Color I'm not done yet. Like yellow would be nice. Kind of basic yellow primary. Do this one. This is I can't read it. Yellow Veradium? Yellow Veradium? We're gonna go with it. And Dragon's Blood. That one's tight too. Okay. That's way more than I wanted to put on there. I don't want to waste this. I have so much pigment on these plates, I'm probably going to keep them and use them for the future use and just let them dry. Because I don't want to waste any of this. These are expensive. Water in here. Clean that up. Pigment, because that is very, very, very dark color. Put the yellow. You know that? We'll mix these in a little bit. Make a circle here. And let's do that again. And we'll do one over here. Let's do another one of these down here. And the right, let's do a bunch of them at once. Get this next one. There's this last one. A little trouble. Yep, ready. Hook up the heat gun. I found it. Yes. Yes, I'm guessing he went to the store. Oh, you know what? I need to put this on this side. That connects like that. There we go. All right, that's not bad. Oh, that one right there is still a little wet, but it should dry here in a minute. Yeah, I guess I can hit those really quick. I didn't see that. Yeah, not bad. I made a bunch of like multicolored orbs. I'm sure, it takes tweaking the process and getting it just right to be able to get it to look as, Instagram perfect as those people like to make them because they've done it a million times before they released a video, but still not bad, I think. Let me get a little closer. Focus. You can see a little bit too much water. Definitely bled in the middle. I think making the pigment on the outside more watery, but still thick, and having a thinner layer of water in the middle, I think it probably would have run a little bit better. Yeah. Neat. Neat. How are we doing on our soapy concoction? Well, it's definitely still wet, but I'm curious if I can peel back the plastic on it and dry it with the dryer, or do I need to let it set completely dry? I think in a perfect world, I should be letting it go completely dry. However, in reality, who knows what happens? I should probably let it dry. So, maybe let's give it a tiny bit more time. But I don't want to mess it up by peeling back the plastic early, and it might mess up the texture, right? So what can I do in the meantime? I can clean my little cups. But I want to be able to use them again. Yeah, I think the idea of this is really nice. I think figuring out how to do it perfectly so that it's smooth and I don't like overdo it in any way or underdo it. I think it would make some really beautiful like bubbles. So I see where this is headed, and I like the direction. Just clean this off, but I could maybe do one really quick. Let's do this. Yeah, I really like that color mix. Yeah, man, that violet and that turquoise blue combo is really pretty. Yeah, that's a good combo. Okay, so I have some time. What I have over there is still a drawing. Oh. It's still drying to the point where it might be a Monday thing of next week to pick up on it because it's pretty sopping wet. I think I'm gonna end up just moving it to a shelf and letting it ride. But we can probably figure out something else to do because I've got some more time. So maybe we can do something additional with this. What would that look like? Uh, it's a good question. Maybe we do a couple more. Maybe overlapping. And then we find something else to do around it. Let's see. These quick before they dry.
Hey, that's pretty good.
At this point, I'm just going crazy. More, more, more. Oh, I'm making a mess now. I'm getting it all on top of my tape and everything. I have to be careful. A small amount of bubbles has turned into a great quantity of bubbles. I'm still going because I don't know when to quit. Let's do a little bit of this. Mhm. I put a tiny bit of salt on it in a couple spots, so I'm going to need to let this one sit completely naturally so the salt can spread, otherwise it'll just dry up like nothing happened. So yeah, I'm going to let that sit for a minute. How's this doing? It is definitely not ready to take the plastic off yet, but I can show you through the plastic. So this at least promises to have some interesting colors and some bubbles in there, but only if I let it sit and dry naturally. I think the second I lift this up, I ruin the texture, so I'm going to leave it be until Monday, and we'll check back on it and maybe add some more. I think these came out pretty nice, but I just have to not be me. I can't rush it, so I'm going to be smart and stand back. Stop, Bear. Stop doing things. Stop it. Okay. I'm giving myself advice and listening to it this time. I'm stopping and I'm having some coffee. All right. Cheers. Let's clean up our cups. Because I'm not going to add any more to this. There's enough on there. If I do anything else to this, it's after it dries and something else on it. But I like it kind of looking like this. We'll see. Run my brush around inside this to clean it a little bit more. Of course, I got some paint on my finger. I'll have to wash that off later. You know, I should probably grab a fresh paper towel. And stay there. For good measure, throw out the ones that I've got here that are heavy with pigment. Go away. Get out of here. We don't serve your kind here. Yeah. Alright. Sorry, I don't know why I went super ghetto, like hate-filled country for a second there. Okay, that's clean. That will be back in use in the future. Let's grab some water. It's a smarter way to do it than using my brush. Let's clean that. Thank you, Desert. Thank you, Goddess. Yes, I like how the bubbles came out. I like how the other bubbles came out. All the bubbles. Today's a day of bubbles. I should have named it Bubble Day, but, you know, I didn't think that far ahead. And, well, while we're waiting for that to dry, we can talk about future plans. It's always something I can do. I don't know that I'll use my brush again today. Let me move that to the side for now. Scoot that over there. So, one thing I want to say, I think I still have it there. Let me check before I say something out loud that I don't know is accurate. You go here, you go there. You go down there. Yes, I do. Great. If you happen to scroll down from my stream and you see the panels that I have down below, one of the ones that's there is painting suggestions. I've had it since the beginning. I've never promoted it because I figured I'd wait until there's enough people in here to give opinions. If you ever feel like giving me any suggestions for anything that I can paint, doesn't mean I'm going to do it. Definitely doesn't mean I'm not going to do it. I just would like the idea to have some third-party suggestions or ideas if you ever think of any. You are free to put anything you want in there. I think there's a timer of like one suggestion every 5 minutes or something, so I don't have like someone come down there and spam it at some point. But yeah, feel free if you have any ideas for anything you'd like me to see if I can try doing. I'm happy to try new things. I'm happy to try things I've done already and try to do them better. So anything you can think of that might be interesting, just pop 1 or 2 ideas down there, whatever you like. Just to have something so I've got like a well of possibilities to come to. I also have a lot of things already written down that I still want to do. I keep it in a list in Google Keep. So I'll go through those at some point. One of the things I have to do that I want to try, which is it's silly. It's the kind of thing that someone who's a professional does as a challenge, but I'm going to do it, I think, anyway, just so I can understand what the difference in this is. But, yeah, here we go. I had to look for it. You go there. Oh, that was noisy, but it sounded worse than it was. I have from IKEA this. It's got a lot of colors in it, but it's meant for kids. I didn't really quite know that at the time. I know that you can do anything you want at any skill level with any materials, and it still can come out looking like art. You may not expect it to work exactly the same, but I had the thought of trying to do some stuff like that I've done before, maybe nebula or trees or just anything in general, using standard, regular, like off-the-shelf kids quality paints. It's pretty right now because it's, in the packaging and it looks pretty until you get water on it, and then it starts getting kind of funky, I think, because it's like kids' watercolors. But that's how I started when I was a kid. I didn't know all this other fancy stuff existed. I thought all watercolors came from this. I had no idea. What a fool I was. Or how naive. But I want to try doing something with this. I've had it sitting down here for a year now, and I haven't done anything with it because I immediately found that there's other paints out there, so I went to those, the cheap sets, and then I just progressed from there. But I want to try doing something with this. I don't know what. Consider it a challenge, whatever it might be. It might be interesting to try playing with these. Just, I thought it was interesting that I've still got them. I may as well try using them. Aside from that, I've got a little tiny baby set here. What is it? Oh, this is this side. This is a little traveling palette that I've got. I've only used it once, and I didn't even use it like outside, but I had the thought of at some point someday figuring out how to stream outside. This is definitely a far in the future thing, but the idea being that I have a camera facing like maybe out on a scene and this next to me, and I try painting something outside. I thought that would be kind of cute, but I would have to figure out how to do that. I don't even know how to stream from my phone, so the chances of that happening anytime this year is unlikely. But it was a thought that I had. If anything, I can just try painting inside using just this palette. There's nothing wrong with this palette. I think it's mostly the Mameri blue set, to be fair, but no, because I don't have a white or a black in Mameri blue, and that's in here. So this is, I think, my original set. That's probably why it's cracked so badly when it dried. But I thought it'd be interesting to try painting using just this, so that's an option. Masking fluid. I want to try doing some stuff that properly uses masking fluid. I used it a tiny bit every now and then, but I haven't really found a good idea or a good way to utilize it in a way that makes sense. I would need to like have lettering that I sketch out or stencil out, and I want to paint in the lettering and then paint around it and then peel this off so that the lettering is white. It's mainly used to preserve the white of the paper. So figuring out how to best use this, I still got to learn. So another interesting figure out how to use it tool day kind of thing. I also have, I haven't shown it much. I'd have to pull it up. I don't have it open right now, but I have my little wheel of horror in a way. I've got a wheel of random items that I can go through and like spin the wheel on a day, and I have to do what the wheel lands on. So that's one possibility of things I can do idle over time. So yeah, I've got a lot of things to do. It's just sometimes figuring out what I'm going to do in the day, in the moment, is difficult. So sometimes I wait to the last minute. Sometimes I have it figured out a week in advance. That's more rare, but yeah. Streaming with phone is actually easier. No OBS. Like streaming directly from my phone to Twitch with no overlay, no integration, just camera footage and that's it, and the camera mic, or my AirPods maybe, with like a little stand or something to film downward on what I'm painting and what's outside maybe. It's a possibility. Maybe figuring out how to stream from my phone as like a browser source or some sort of video source that I can input into this stream. So I just like stream from here and then I go outside and start it. I don't know how people do IRL, so I'm not even going to try to do anything that connects back home and makes that work. But yeah, maybe one day I'll do like a spur of the moment outdoor stream at a park or something if I care to. God forbid, because being at a park means people will eventually find you and want to look at what you're doing, and then they'll look over my shoulder and see, wow, that's garbage, and run off. So we'll see. I don't know. I'll figure that out. Desert said, I'll have to figure that out for when I travel. Yeah, it's a thing. You clearly see people that do IRL. I think some of what they do with it, I think they have their stream set up at home like already configured, and I think they use their remote camera from where they are as a browser source or some sort of remote video source to act like it's local to the PC that is hosting the stream. So like they're not hosting the stream from their phone, they're hosting it from a computer and using their video as like a remote camera, right? I think is how they do it. I don't know the details. I'm sure it's clearly let me Google that for you, right? So, and the alternative is, truly, yeah, like Goddess is saying, truly streaming from your phone, like literally using your phone camera, your phone microphone, and no user interface, and just doing it that way. So, yeah, you might want to refresh, Goddess, if there's no sound. I'm yapping, and it looks like it's broadcasting it just fine. We'll see. Let me know. But yeah, figuring out outdoor streaming is weird. I don't know that I always. You pressed it in your streaming, so you pulled out some yarn. Oh, that's hilarious! What an accidental sudden stream. You attempt to install OBS on a laptop and failed. Oh, to like truly bring the laptop with you and stream from the laptop? Oh, like on Wi-Fi or maybe tethered to your phone or something in some way? Oh. It could work, probably. If anything, it might be easier. Well, I don't want to assume anything. I don't know. And I think it would require a proper amount of research online to say, how do I do an IRL stream where my PC at home is hosting the stream? And then just figuring out, like, from there, right? Incompatible OS. Really? On your laptop? Is the laptop running, like, Linux Mint or something like that? Like, what? I mean, maybe. It could be. I think OBS works on Linux, too. Yeah, and like from either from any phone or even iPad, you can use the Twitch app, and you can use literally just the basic simple go live from your phone, and it is literally like your phone and whatever microphone you have connected, either the mic on the phone or like a Bluetooth microphone like AirPods or a headset or a Bluetooth speaker, whatever you've got that's got a microphone and everything in it, and then the camera. Or cameras on the phone, and you can switch between them front or back, but that's all you've got. What I'm thinking is more along the lines of having like the phone and like an iPad with me, and I can have like one broadcasting the camera of the paper and one broadcasting like the camera of what's in front of me or something like that, and you can have both on screen at once, but it's sending the video back home. And home is where the stream started remotely and ended remotely. and you can control the scenes and everything from there. How people do it, no idea. Absolutely no idea how people do it. It's witchcraft, magic, right? Just because I've never done it before, I don't really have a need. I'm probably not going to ever. But if I do, the idea is interesting. I just have to be better at what I do so that going to a different place makes sense and is worth it. As I'm doing now, I mean, unless I'm going out in the dead of night in the middle of nowhere and looking up at the Milky Way live and trying to do a nighttime stream painting the Milky Way, I don't really know what my purpose would be going outside to do stuff like that. But the idea is cool. Like, it's not often you see people painting on Twitch anyway. There's very few of us out there, which is a potentially good thing and a potentially not. If it never takes off, there's nobody here. But, at the same time, we're some of the few first people that are live at any given time painting watercolor. There's not many of us. It's not going to take off like VTubers did, but it's something, right? But yeah, the idea of going out of the house to go somewhere to paint is interesting. If you're at your home and you can hide your home so you're not like doxing yourself, as they call it, showing off too much about yourself, and then people can come find you in reality if they care. Gross. If you have like a large yard where it's not obvious from the outside what it looks like, or a backyard, and you can aim downward and have like a beautiful garden or something, and you can go paint in your garden, I think that's gorgeous. What a cool idea. And then a lot of the times you can definitely do a feed from a camera. So I've used an app when I was testing out first streaming, seeing what kind of cameras would work, and I found an app that you install on your iPhone that on the Wi-Fi in your house makes a website, a browser access where you can view the video feed from your phone, and it will broadcast into OBS or whatever app that you use, and it'll work exactly like any other camera. There's obviously some delay because of what it is, but it works. So you could technically be outside your house, but within range of your home Wi-Fi, and you can record stuff in that way. So the idea is neat. I don't know. It will take some tweaking and testing, right? You end up doxing some family in Minnesota. Yeah, right? Yeah, let's not do that. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting idea. How are we doing here? We're almost completely dry. There's some spots that are not, but I think the salt has done all of what it's going to do. I think I'm going to go ahead and hit this with the heat gun and let it dry up completely, brush the salt off, and see how it looks. And yeah, my other project over here with the soap bubbles, that's going to have to sit and wait for Monday for sure. I keep looking over at it and it's sopping wet. And again, if I mess with it, I'm going to ruin it. So let's dry this off, and I think we'll probably end for the day. Let's get this going. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, 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 pop. Alright, I think that's about as good as I can get that. Wow, I got paint on my thumb too. Let me grab my garbage can really quick. Make sure I'm not going to roll over. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Grab my garbage can, try to brush off some of this salt, make sure there's no water under any of it. I think I'll be fine. You know what I did last time? Please join me. Yeah. I think that did it. Scoot this back out of the way. Good yaw. Is that over there? Yeah. I think I got. No, yeah, there's still some salt on it. I'll get the rest of it off later. Yeah, I'm pleased with it. I made a lot of bubbles of varying colors and textures. Whether I do something else with this on top of it, I don't know. Maybe when we revisit the other bubble catastrophe over there on Monday, we'll take a look at this again and see if there's anything else we can do with it. If not, we can leave it the way it is. Oh, you know, I'm still zoomed in. Yeah, that would have helped. Yeah, not too shabby. Lots of color, lots of bubbles. I like it. And, wow, that hurt. I did that, I don't know. Anywho, this guy is going to be drawing for a while. I can't even put all of it on here because I got too much crap in the way because I didn't put anything up like a fool. Let me move some of this away. You can go over here, you can go over here, you can go over, over here, and then you can go over, somewhere over here, and then you can go over, whatever, I don't care, it'll dry. And then this can all go back, and yeah. It is clearly still drying in many places, but I really like how it's going. I like what I see in a lot of areas. The bubbles look absolutely stunning, but I don't want to pick this up until it dries because I'm going to ruin the hell out of it. Some of the areas are dry already when I peeked, and it looks good, like right there. But I don't want to mess with it, so I'm just going to let it sit, let it dry completely. I'll peel this off, and then we can look at doing on Monday our second batch of colors around some of the edges and maybe overlapping slightly in the middle, and kind of work our way outwards with a darker blue until we start getting into indigos on the outside. And maybe while it's wet, we throw a couple sprinkles, not a lot, but a couple sprinkles of salt, and let it spread and do its magic in a couple tiny bits so that there's a little bit of salt, a little bit of soap, a little bit of country, a little bit of rock and roll. And then maybe if it ends up looking really beautiful by the end, we wax some stars onto it. I think it could be a really beautiful big nebula. So I'm going to let it sit and let the process work and do its thing and let it dry. We'll hit this back on Monday, see how it all looks, peel back the plastic, and then hit it with another layer, keep on going. It may be a 3-day project. We may come back to this even on Thursday of next week to finish it off. It might be sitting just as long as this did today, almost definitely. And I'll try to come up with a better way of scooping out the soap bubbles than my hand or a spoon. I'll try to find a better option that's maybe like a big flat spoon spatula thing so I can get under it and get a quantity. It's just soapy water, so it's in effect washing the dishes. My boyfriend will love that. yeah, I think I'll call that a day. I got the beginnings of a fun, big, giant 15 by 20 project here. And I got a bunch of really pretty bubbles done using a new process I've never done. So, yeah, that's it, guys. I'm going to head on out. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Desert Goddess. Yes, Goddess, thank you for the fun stream. You're welcome on anytime. And thank you so much for the gift. I will be heading up to the office to go grab that later. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Sent me a birthday present. I appreciate that to hell and back. And yes, I need to figure out some kind of. I'll figure out something for you. I've got an idea, but I don't want to say it because I don't know if I'll do it on stream and show you or just make something off stream and send it. We'll see. I'll think about it. I'll let you know when the time comes. Anyway, I'm going to stop yammering. All right, guys. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks for hanging out with me. See you later. This is Bear out. Bye.